We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
Well, happy Wednesday to every single person out there, all our subscribers, every single one of our fans, all our followers. We thank y'all so much. We know that we're extremely late, but we had, on all three sides, we had technical problems. Just wanted to let y'all know that. Didn't want to hold y'all up. We got a really good night, a really great series that we are about to bring to y'all. I am so excited. The other hosts are so excited about it. And I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible. Unfiltered, season 4, episode 30. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. Share, subscribe, follow, tweet. We are on Facebook or Meta. I don't want to get in trouble for saying the wrong thing. Meta. We on YouTube. And we are on Twitter. Follow us at all three. Y'all got all three. So follow us, subscribe, share. And we are about to have ourselves a great show tonight. I want to go ahead and let my awesome co-host introduce herself. That's my goddaughter. So she's not hosting tonight, but her daddy is. So we're going to let her daddy go first, and then we're going to take it from there.
Hey, this your boy, Mac Daddy, a.k.a. Mr. Reese, 130 Unfiltered. You should like and subscribe. And if your kids are acting bad, get a belt. Yeah, we're just getting their lunch together tomorrow, but y'all, thank y'all for continuing to rock with us. And we look forward to sharing these awesome topics with y'all.
Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Hills checking in. I hope you guys have had a happy hump day, and I hope y'all ready for what we got tonight.
So, getting into it, not wasting any time, going right straight into it. We are starting a series here on Unfiltered, and this be the first time we did this since we had our couple series back in season 2?
Yeah,
season 2. Since season 2. And then last year we had our series where we had people come on to talk, but this is a series we are starting this year. This time around, that is really going to be powerful. Miss Hills brought something a while back, a couple of months ago, where it said this is a season for healing. We started out in February talking about not only we wanted to be Black History Month, but we want to be Black healing and things of that nature. Whoa! She caught me off guard with that. Look.
Oh, dad.
Y'all funny.
Hey, girl.
Yes, y'all know my birthday is in 7 days. I gotta be ready.
Foxy Brown.
Listen, I had to get the curl straightened. I've been dealing with it for a minute. I said, let's get it together. Let's do something with it.
I ain't mad at you looking like $1 million, girl.
Ooh, wait. And Marilyn Monroe's dipped in chocolate. That's how she looks.
That's right. That's how she would look. She came with bad. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I tripping? But
you're looking like Soulful Mona.
Okay.
yeah.
I ain't mean to mess it up. My bad.
Hey, Randy, she kept the profile on as soon as we got live.
She got live. She came out that bad like boom.
Listen, I've been missing for a little bit. I needed the people to know I'm alive. I'm well. I'm looking good.
Alive. We all see you more than alive.
Looking like $1 million. Ain't playing with you.
Listen, this go right to the top. It's called healing. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me hold it.
So she said we said it healing, and we continued it on all the way through March, all the way through May, all the way now through June, and we go continue it on all the way. But it was a question she brought up. It says, so how do we get healing? How do we become better? How are we going to go about doing it? And in this series, we are getting down to we getting underneath the surface of this bad boy. And it is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for the reactions and everything else that's going on, the commentary and everything. And it's just going to be awesome. And we call it Dying to Live. And what this just means is, I'm going to make sure I'm quoted right. It's on 1 Corinthians 15, 31. I believe 30, 31. I believe it's in that range. When Paul, as he was writing the letter to Corinthians, and a lot of people don't realize, to this day, I never understood that people didn't realize that Paul was writing these letters in prison.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a nice, fancy office or a temple or some place like that. This man was in prison, writing these letters, locked up. I don't know if y'all can even imagine what a prison back then would be, in the most darkest, nastiest conditions. He was writing letters to these churches to encourage them, to keep them lifted and giving them instruction. One of those letters was to the Corinthians, and in 1 Corinthians 30, 31. I want to say 31. Right there at the end, just paraphrasing, he says that, in everything he said, in all this that I'm telling y'all, basically letting them know that my life has always been in danger for preaching the word, for preaching it right, for going up there and bringing people the truth. And he said, I'm not doing it to boast to y'all. I'm telling you that every day, he said that I was in fear, but I die daily. Which means that every day he recommits himself to what the plan should be. He dies to himself. He dies to his fears. He dies to his wants. And what makes this so incredible to me and everyone else is that if Paul did this every day, even in prison, when he could have been like, man, no, I ain't doing this. It could have been done. I have no doubts they could have did everything.
Yeah.
But the thing I look at the most is that when someone is sold out to what they want to do, and when they know what is right, when you sold out to doing what you know is right, which means getting yourself better,
yes,
selling yourself out to what feels good at this very moment, getting rid of that so that way your long-term goal can be accomplished. That's what we're talking about. And it's just, I know a lot of people when they heard it, they're like, oh man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be talking about relationships. Yeah, we talk about relationships, but we talk about that relationship that you got with yourself.
Yes.
Because we tend to be our own worst enemies.
Yes, sir.
We got a lot of people that say, oh, this person did this to me. That person did that to me. That's nice. We do a lot of finger pointing. But I can guarantee you that no one does more damage to you than you.
Ooh, facts.
We just do it. We do it so often. So in this series, we're going to talk about something different every week, but this is the series we on, right? We on series of Dying to Live. So when y'all hear that, and I know they both excited by it. We first talked, we like, damn. What do y'all, when y'all first hear that, Dying to Live, What is immediately jumps out to y'all right off the bat? Dying to live.
You want to go
By
first?
any,
You want me to go?
I'll go real quick. It's by any means necessary. I'm going to live. I'm going to kill, destroy, eliminate whatever is in the way that's going to stop me from living my best life, seeing the full potential, just going day to day, not giving up.
I was actually gonna say the same thing. It's just I was gonna just use like just clawing for every single piece of life every day. Just like it's understanding like how precious life is and how much we take it for granted, and like knowing that how precious it is, how we should fight for it.
Why do you think we don't understand how precious life is? That's a really good question. See, we want to dig. We're about to be getting into some things. I'm glad you brought that up, man. What makes us so not appreciative of life itself?
We take,
Uh,
we take it for granted. We think that we have more time than we really have. We think that
there you go.
because we're getting comfortable with things just happening, we're getting things. Certain people in our life are, codependency. That's a thing. We just start to forget that, like you said, Mac, life is a gift. Again, I'm always gonna take it straight to Jesus forever. It goes back to us forgetting that God is the one in control of our breathing, the blood flowing through our veins, like us forgetting that we have to reverence God and understand that God is in control. And that's not, like Randy says all the time, it's not a cliche and just something you hear in church, but it's real.
You
God
know
can
what
just tell us to stop breathing and we won't breathe anymore. Like we've lost that.
But and you know what, Fifi, just for something like I don't even want to call it simple, but let's just say breathing, right? Like
Hmm.
we like all right, take it for granted. Like because we do it every day. We're doing it right now. We're gonna assume to know we're gonna do it tomorrow and next year, the year after that, blah blah blah. But we won't really appreciate it until we're on the breathing machine. Like we won't appreciate, walking up and down the stairs until we don't have no legs or are able to do it. And I think that's where a lot of us actually begin to grow. It's like, wow, like I really just would give up anything just to be able to walk to the store, walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
Blind people like, hey, I just want to see my family, or I just
Wow.
want to do ABC. Just stuff that we do every day. It's like, okay, I'm doing it. It's natural. It's second nature. It's what we're supposed to do. But not knowing that other people don't have it. So I like I said, it's just at the end of the day
Yeah.
that we just decide to take things for granted until it's taken from us. Not knowing how precious life is until it's taken from us. How precious someone else's life is until it's taken from us. So everything that we do, we just gotta appreciate it and take care of it. Because once we don't have it, it's like wow, like and even something like man, I remember how am I 30? When I was like 22, I could eat a whole person and not gain a pound. You know what I'm saying? At six pack, I was good. And it's like, after I stopped working, I'm like, okay, I could get my stomach back. Or I could do this is a lot harder. I take for granted not eating better, not taking care of myself. So that's just something I lost. Now I gotta work harder and go ahead and try to keep or accomplish what I need to accomplish. Or even be healthier. So just knowing what we lost and trying to retain it and keeping it is what we learn to know how precious something is.
That was so major what you just said, because I think that's the part of it. A lot of us don't recognize what we're losing. We're not recognizing the significance of what we're losing by the choices that we're making, or just by just taking things for granted, like you said. And I think that's the thing about it. Like, it takes for us to have a traumatic, horrible experience in order for us to start taking advantage and really valuing the things that we should have already been taking care of, or valuing or
Hmm.
appreciating.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I think that's where we have to start when it comes to learning and understanding how we need to develop right there.
I noticed that both of y'all use this word precious. When y'all describe life, how precious it is. And like I said, I'm deep diving. I want to do everything. I want to do major surgery. And precious means of great value, not to be wasted or treated carelessly. That's a really good definition. So basically, we can all agree that we feel like that most individuals, or by most, we just think a lot of people, when it comes to life right now, wasted and treated carelessly, as if they got a restart switch. If it gets so bad, okay, we can restart it over and we can do it again. Like you call it, the video game mentality.
Yes,
But
sir.
because I absolutely agree with everything that y'all just said. I think that especially, and you know what, this gonna strike people as weird. I think a lot of people who are quote unquote spiritual might fall a little bit more into that than the people that's not spiritual in regards to treating life carelessly. Because I've seen it, and what I mean by that, and I might ruffle some feathers, but I think that the truth will set you free. I think a lot of people, and I was just talking to Ms. Hills about this before we got on there. It was a book that I read when I was going through ministry, and the book was, and I still was like, dang, why they giving me this book? We're gonna get something else. I thought you want, give me the Hebrew or but it wasn't like that. They gave me a book. It said single, saved, and having sex. It was like, because man, we live in a generation, and it ain't like it never happened before our generation. I ain't saying that, but it's more now. It's almost like, yeah, man, do it. It don't matter. It's what you do. It's the norm, and we have to be careful because things start to become the norm, and just because it's normal, don't mean it's right. Once upon a time, slavery was normal, so we got to be very cautious of that. And I think we live in those times where a lot of people that claim to be faith-based and, however it is, wherever you believe in, are faith-based based upon a buffet style of living in their faith, which means they go up to the buffet, the stuff they like, they get, the stuff they don't like, they leave. And we have gotten ourselves in so much trouble. I know myself have gotten myself in so much trouble by living that way. Because I felt like, God, I ain't killing nobody. I ain't doing nothing to nobody. I ain't robbing, stealing, and killing. Hey, you can give me the pass on having sex with all these women. And that is a problem. You can't, it's just like when everybody else say, when we talk about something that you can't say, I'm going to obey this, I'm going to obey that. But because I thoroughly enjoy this one, I'm not going to give it up. And then use fancy cliches all the time that God knows my heart. Yeah, stop it. If you know it's right or wrong, you got to put it in your mindset that, hey, I shouldn't do this. If you expect it to get it right. That's just like if you work on a job. I'll give y'all a good example. When I used to work in the field, climbing the poles. Stripper, right? Yeah, I'm about to say that. The one thing they didn't want us to wear was steel toe boots. Why? Steel toe boots.
Electricity.
Right? What if I said, man, why the heck I ain't got to do that? I could do, come on, man. The boots, I could just wear that. And then I pay the cost for doing it. I get electrocuted. Do I not stand in fault because of the decision that I made to be deliberately? Keep in mind, people are not mistakenly disobedient. You're not mistakenly. Nobody. That was by mistake. I didn't realize I was being disobedient. Because if you knew you was being if you knew that, it's like, well, if you know it's wrong, you made a choice. So if I made the choice to not follow that procedure and end up getting myself killed, there's nobody else at fault but me. So, just like in this, where we want to go in with this, when we talk about life and things of this nature. Well, I want to deep dive into, not for long today, because I know we got 20 minutes in. We'll give it a little bit more. But let's think about this. Let's start here. Because we said we want to start with ourselves. And we want to try to deep dive into why it's so hard for us to die to these urges and these things that we enjoy so much. We've already described so many times that sin, the reason why people sin is because you like it. It's not because you can't help it. You thoroughly enjoy what you like doing. If you have, man, I front nobody out. We gonna do everything and say everything right, man. I was, and this is no shape or form of way bragging, but I was doing everything, going to church and doing everything I was supposed to be doing, but still having sex. I thought I was cool because I wasn't doing no cheating, and that was. Now that I sit back and look at it, I'm like, man, that was stupid. Because it caused so much stuff in the long run. It had a long-term build-up damage that we never look at because all we do is stand. We just look for that settle, that quick fix, the quick gratification.
Yeah.
So we never pay attention to the long term. So in y'all opinions, why you think people never want to pay attention to the long-term destruction that it caused by them being disobedient? And we ain't talking about to nobody else. We talking about just to yourself. I know, Matt, you, like you said, you careless, you waste to be precious is not to treat things wastefully or carelessly. So why are we so careless? Well, if we claim that we love ourselves so much, why are we so careless with our own lives?
Because
our
you
own
know what?
decision making.
I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we have a opportunity, and that's what. So, for example, right? Let's just say like, I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna just run across the street. Granted, okay, let's say I do it one time. People blow your horn, or somebody want to avoid hitting you because they want to kill you. So you're like, oh man, let me see if I can do it again. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
nobody would hit and kill. No, nobody want to really kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're gonna move out the way. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do it again. But it's gonna be that one day where you're gonna go ahead and do it. Somebody ain't gonna pay attention. Or somebody's gonna be like, you know what? I ain't nothing I can do. I gotta hit you. And you get hit. You're like, damn, like, why the hell am I like, why am I in this situation? Why am I in the hospital? Why am I, wherever? You knowing the consequences, but it's like, you know what? I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, I agree with Mac. And to sum up what he's saying, deception.
Man, I just think at the end of the day, like I said, we just busted the opportunity just to have grace, just to have a second chance, and a third chance, and a fifth chance, and a 50th chance, and a 500th chance, and it's like once it's done, it runs out. You know what I mean? We think about the chances that we had, so that's why we keep doing it because we think we just all alluded to. We think we got another shot, we got another chance. One more ain't gonna hurt.
Man, you just said grace.
Hmm.
That's awesome. I think that people forget that, that is nothing but by the grace of God that most of us even have a chance or another opportunity. Uh,
Yep.
and we don't. And the biggest thing is that, like you said, a lot of people, a lot of us, don't really understand how valuable a second chance is. It's basically saying, man, you might have screwed up on purpose. You might have screwed up by mistake. But what is about to happen is that we're going to kind of scratch all that out and let you get a do-over. And that's just for one chance. But you just brought up how many times we are given chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. Mm-hmm. And not because of mistakes, but because of bad habits and poor choices.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy when we think about it. It makes you really, I mean, I know now with a lot of the things that, all three of us have been through, we like, wow, man, dang, I did that. Woof. I should have been hit. You know what I mean? I really should have been hit on that. So when we see people do these same things and have these other opportunities, we looking like, man, are you not understanding that, man, this is another opportunity. It may not ever come up, it may not ever come around again.
Yep.
This time it may stick. This time you may have to go through it. This time you may have to, what we say, Matt, that sometimes sorry is not enough. Mm-hmm. This might be where you're going to have to ride this bad boy out. So in terms of so many individuals, like we say that we're trying to do better on ourselves. What do you think some of the biggest hurdles? Let's discuss the hurdles that we have. We already established that it's the lack of respect for life. It's one of the causes. They don't cherish it. It's not precious to them. It's wasteful to some people. What hurdles you think get people there? Because we could go all night with that, right?
Yeah.
The hurdles that get them there. Past bad experiences. That are more traumatic than some. You have some people that, what would we say, may have been molested. Where, depending on what happened, it just ain't one time. And sometimes that's all it takes is one time. I can't, when you get to that place, you got some people that can move on and get the help that they need, right? You got some people that understand that maybe get the help what they need. You got some people, they never move on from it. Mm-hmm. It's a devastating effect. It affects them in every area of their life, every relationship they have, every person they with, it affects them. Drug abuse, physical abuse. Shoot, something as simple as us, well, we might say, wow, why are you over there? It might have been somebody just letting you down. Like, a simple thing. I think what I've understood in my development is never down in somebody's experience, right? If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Saying, man, that's nothing. How I know that's not nothing? I'm not that person. I have no idea how that affected them. Somebody not keeping their word might have destroyed you because you hung on their word.
Yep.
Well, you be like, man, get over it, man. It's somebody else. And it can do some damage to you. Say that to the kids, and we said this before, say that to the boys who have sat on the porch waiting for dads who said they were going to come. And because they believed them, they stand on the porch and they never came.
Daughters too.
Daughters. Mm-hmm. All these opportunities. Speak of that. And not just dads, moms. Waiting on promises, waiting for people to come it never happens. And then they get up, they come with a complex.
Can't trust nobody.
Yeah, I won't trust nobody. Like you said, that first, my mother always told me, and I heard this expression from everybody, but you only got one chance at a first impression. And it's a lasting impression because it may not be you. You may not know that's not you. But the person that you getting the opportunity with or you meeting for the first time, they associate you with how you presented yourself that very first time. It could have been a bad day for you. But they don't forget that. Even no matter what people say. I didn't have that situation happen to me. Where people are like, man, dang, he's just an angry dude. And people come along like, no, that's the farthest thing from truth. That's not him. But that's the reality for the person that just met me for the first time. You get what I'm saying? So, what do you think? What causes some people, you think, to never get out of that one crucial time that becomes debilitating for them? That they can't, it seems like they can't move on from it. I think that's an outstanding question.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Absolutely. What do you think makes people incapable of, in their own minds, of moving on from those type of debilitating situations, those type of emotional situations, physical situations? What do you think makes people be at a standstill?
Being comfortable. Honestly, like it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but yeah, just being comfortable. Like I think knowing that it could get better, get worse, but like just being comfortable knowing that okay, I can settle with this. I can settle with like all right, being hurt or being whatever current predicament I'm in. I'm comfortable being in this situation as long as it doesn't get worse. And we feel like anything outside of what can happen can be worse. Like what we just discussed. I was that one kid that was, that wanted daddy to come and he never did. And outside of him actually not not coming around, I think the worst thing was for him to say that, hey, I really didn't love you. I don't know what that would do to me,
Right.
you know. So I just feel like um kind of fighting those demons is more traumatizing than actually want to face them because some we feel like we can't deal with what's on the other side of that. So it's like, hey, I'm better off not dealing with it.
Man, I like what you just said right there. Fifi, I know you got something to say on that.
Yes.
That's deep. I just sit there and think about that myself. I'm just sitting there like, what you just said, I was thinking like most people stay in that circumstance because that's their first experience. And it's the fear of if this happened,
Yep.
what possibly worse could happen? Do I even want to know what worse could happen? So what'd you say on that, Fifi?
Yeah, I agree with Mac. Just to expound a little bit more on what he was saying, I believe that people feel like it's like a defense mechanism. I'm already hurt and this damaged me, and I don't want to allow anything else to get that close to hurt me or to make me feel how I feel. So I'm going to close off. I'm going to put up a wall, put up a guard. I'm going to handle people with a long spoon. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's so deep and real. But I think a lot of people are stuck there or they can't move past it because I think number one, they're in shock. Like it's just the disbelief that whatever the situation or circumstance is happening. It's like their brain cannot fathom and understand why this happened to them or why is this really real. I think it's that place of like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen and it's really happening to me. And I think they get once they get into that place, it's more of a fear of the future and hopelessness. Like if this horrible thing could happen, I don't think I could get past this. I don't think that I can deal with anything else that could come after this. And I don't think I can move forward because if this is what life is going to be like moving forward, I don't want a future.
Right.
I don't want to move forward because I'm struggling to handle this. I'm struggling to understand this. I'm struggling to even feel. And I think that goes back to people. That's why people are not good at communicating or talking about their feelings or emotions, because they feel like once I open up myself and really get vulnerable and really get real and honest, I don't believe that people can handle it and will handle it with care. So I'm not even going to try. I think it goes into, I don't want to try anymore. I don't want to be willing. I don't want to put forth an effort because I've had these experiences. And some people haven't even had a bad experience. They've just seen other people have bad experiences or crazy traumatic experiences or just things that was just like, why does this have to happen? And I think that has forced them to think that if that's their situation, if that's what they're going through, then I can only imagine what it's going to be for me. So I don't even want to open up to it at all.
When I think about that, it just lets you know how, if you never thought about it before, people think about disease and broken limbs and things when it come to healing. And it's funny that you can set a cast on a leg and an arm, a hand, or any, wherever it gets broken, bones broken and things of that nature. You can set it and you can get healed from them things, right? You got things like the cold and other diseases, that you can get treatment for, and eventually, God willing, you can make it through and fight through. But when you think about healing or emotional pains and spiritual hurts, it really it gets my mind going to like, wow, we have no idea the severe damage we do to people every day.
Yeah.
We really don't. We really don't understand that damage that we do to people. And we don't really understand some of the damage that's been done to us. Because like you said, it's like you become, not only you become numb. I think one of y'all said that not too long ago. You become numb, especially when it's done enough. You're like, you know what? I'm never going to put myself in this position again. I'm never going to feel this way again. I'm never going to give somebody the opportunity to make me feel this way. So you just become totally like, you try to get yourself on complete shutdown mode to totally avoid what most of us would call just straight up human interaction and ever advancing past your hurt, because we are really, in all honesty, with myself too, is that we are completely afraid of getting healed. Because getting healed,
Wow.
we have to discover things that, one, we'll know that is there, but we're afraid to admit that it's there. Because that means now we got to face it.
Wow.
I remember my father and my mother and my father, was getting into it real bad. And I didn't want to keep going over people's houses. And I remember I was about like 12 years old, something like that. Like, I ain't gonna keep moving over here, man. I got a house over there. I'm gonna go over there and be with my dad. And this is the first point of my life where I actually showed some vulnerability to someone outside of my mother. And I remember, like, my mom said, well, okay, if you want to go over there, go over there. Almost like she knew what would possibly happen, if y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She knew what possibly happened, but she like, you need to see it for yourself then. Because there wasn't nothing she could tell me right then, because I was like, man, I just want to be with my dad. And I remember going over there to him, and, that was my dad, really, he wasn't, my dad wasn't saved. At that time frame, he wasn't nothing. He was pure selfish, driven off of a horrible childhood where his stepfather did damage to him and his sister. And I remember going over there. I'm saying, Dad, I'm gonna stay over here with you. And I mean, he said everything but welcome, son. You can stay here. He actually said the opposite things. He actually said, you over here trying to spy on me, trying to see what I'm doing. I'm like, Dad, I'm over here because I love you. And I was totally vulnerable. I went all the way down to it. You know what I'm saying? This was a big, huge experience in my life, being that vulnerable. And he took it and he destroyed me. He said, I was like, Dad, I love you, man. You're my dad. He's like, I ain't got no son. And when he said that to me, I just went. I felt like you feel like the bones in my body, the soul in me just kind of crushed up at 12. At 12 years old, man. And I remember getting my little suitcase and leaving out the house, and it was raining outside. And I remember walking. I was walking down the street. I still remember this, walking down Outer Drive along the cemetery, Mount Olive Cemetery, raining, and I'm soaked. I got a bag with me then because I was like, man, I just don't want to be here. Tears falling down from my ass mixed with the rain. I probably had more tears than rain coming down on the ground. And what I never realized, even after me and my father got things back together, but prior to that, I didn't even speak to my father anymore. At 12, I'm like, I ain't talking to him. I'll talk to him as if I have to, as I see him and not being disrespectful in his house, but never talk to him outside of that again. I was like, if you don't want a son, you're not going to have one. That means everything that's special to me, everything that I do, I put it in my mind frame that I was going to do 10 times better than him. I'm like, I mean, I was going hurtful. I'm just being in complete transparency. I'm like, you an uneducated bastard. I'm about to kill you with education. You did this in sports. I'm about to dominate in sports now.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that he did, I was like, man, I'm gonna do it 10 times better. Oh, but oh my goodness. Oh, you go. Oh, you a second degree black belt? I'm about to be a third degree now. Everything I was like, I'm going to prove my driving force in all transparency, and everything that I did in high school and come in and everything that, all my success was because I wanted to prove that I was better than my father. Point blank, period. Even when it got to the point to where I finally had to break that yoke because it was doing me more harm than him.
Mm.
Even up to that, when we finally broke the yoke and we got good and he got saved, and not realizing that me going to church, me becoming, even in my young age and doing the things I was doing, he was watching, and it's sadly he was mimicking. That got him going back to church. That got him to give his life over to God and did his things. He was watching me because even in the shadows, knowing that I ain't want him there, he was still there.
Wow.
So, but what I didn't realize is that that hatred I still had at 12 years old as a boy crept over into every single relationship I had in my life after that. Even after being cool with him, it crept into every situation. And what I'm using that for to let people know is that I didn't want to face that situation, y'all. Like even now, thinking about it, it's funny. You ever had a situation that happens so bad, that's so memorable, it's so impressed on you that when you have to talk about it again, it's like reliving it again.
Yeah.
It's like right there. And that's how it is for me. And I mean, that's how it was for me. And I thank God because it wasn't until, therapy just like a couple of months ago, went into therapy and me getting back, um, getting back to church, getting back to the things that I was supposed to be doing, getting my relationship even more tighter with God, and coming with some honesty about myself and getting myself where I wasn't being polluted with everything that was coming with me to get me distracted. I removed every distraction. It wasn't until I started doing that I didn't, that I was able to come and say, man, that is poured over in every relationship.
Mm.
No matter what happened with women. Like as soon as you did something that would remind me of potentially having the same effect as my dad saying, I don't have a son, I was ghost. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, I ain't talking about that because my thing, and no disrespect to you, Miss Hills, or any other women that are listening, I almost did what sometimes some women do where they kind of don't say nothing because they feel like the person should already know that it's a problem, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why should I have to tell you? It's already a problem. Because I've been the type of person in my life where if it's something wrong, I'm gonna let you know if I don't like it or not. I don't pity patter around the thing where I don't like. Woman asked me like, what you like? I'm like, I don't like a woman that smoke. I don't like a woman that's a drunk. I'm a disciplinarian. I don't like being out of order. I don't like things doing like this. I like being able to have order. I like all these things. I like the communication. Blah 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 blah. And as long as these things is good, you got me. The problem is when something happened, nobody would know that was the trigger for me because what happened? I'm ghost.
Yeah.
I know it happened, and in some unfairness, like I said, that was my trigger mechanism. Like I ain't facing that. I ain't even need to do it no more. Oh, you did this? Oh, you don't. Oh, you ain't listening to me. Something as simple as I've given you advice about that. You don't take it. You get yourself in the worst jam. Then you keep coming back asking me for my advice. That's disrespectful to me. I'm ghosting you. I'm not saying this right. I'm just telling you what triggered it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think and all of saying that is that we have to we I have to stop being afraid of facing that situation because of having to face the harsh truths and being honest with myself. Like, man, that was one of the most hurt times you ever been in your life, man. You don't like thinking about that because you don't want to. You can still, even as you live that memory, you can still feel the raindrops falling on you, bro.
Mm.
Like that's what we call, like Mac, what you say too, when you call traumatic. That's traumatic. When you can, when the things don't, you can remember smells. You ever had people say, "Man, I can remember, I can still smell the smell. I can still
Yeah.
remember this. I can still remember that." That's pure traumatic incidents that happen. And we, in order for us to get better, we have got to come to that point where we say, man, we got to talk about that. At least that's what it was for me. I'm just trying to give people what the remedy for that issue was with me was removing all distraction and removing all excuses. Because sometimes we get so distracted, we have what you call welcome distractions. What are
Mm-hmm.
welcome distractions? Sex and welcome distraction. Like, man, come on, let's have, oh, you arguing, you complaining. Come on, let me bang you out right quick so I can get you to shut up. We ain't got to talk about this. And I ain't got to deal with it. Maybe if it come back up, I'll bang you again. But it's a welcome distraction. Like, man, I ain't got to think about it no more. Whatever else, whether it be liquor, whether it be alcohol, whatever you use to keep from dealing with situations you know need to be dealt with, is a welcome distraction.
You know what, Randy? I think you gave me this. Y'all hear me?
Yep, we
Yeah.
can hear you, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing that I was going through with my dad, and you kind of actually got me through when I was telling you, like, you know what, like I don't know if I had this conversation with her, what I would do, like right, as far as like if he did say something like, well, I don't love you, or you're not my son, or whatever, or just because how I was prepared, like, you know, I'll prepare, to do whatever, like go to jail or do certain stuff just so that I know that I didn't have to bother with them. I'm like, I just don't need to be around. Even after I became a dad, got married, I thought I'd get better because I thought that, like you said, was something I had over him. Like he always cheated. I never cheated on anybody. He always wasn't there for his kids, and I'm there for my kids. So I thought that would make me better, or at least make me feel better, and never did. So when you told me to address it, and the advice that you gave me was that tell him how you feel and always leave that door open, cause healing's for you, not for him.
Right.
And I just thought that was so unfair because I was like, man, like this guy don't know what he really did to me, and really don't care. And there's times where I talk to him and try to, you know, be a part of his life or he'll be a part of mine. Hopefully, I make it better. It never happened, even to this day. But what changed from that time was that I told him how I felt. Told him I basically hated him. I told him that I basically, what he did, how it affected me. But at the end of the day, like I grew from it. But that door is always open. Whenever you want to be a part of my kid's life, the door is open. Whenever you're ready to be a father to me, that door is open. And it helped. Even though, like I said, I'm still kind of upset, that wow, like it didn't work out. But I can't get upset because I did everything that I could.
Right.
And I finally found peace, like
And
within
that's the one.
myself.
That's it right there.
That's it. You found peace. And that's the growth period now, where we got to get. And it's crazy that you just led right into that. And it's basically because Fifi said this not too long ago when she said it's about finding peace. Because what we do is that, oh man, it's a quote that it says, people are underneath the false expectation that in turmoil, they find peace. That's a lie. You're surrounded by turmoil and you got to live in it. Some people become comfortable with that. It becomes, what can you say? It becomes like drama can become a best friend for you, if that makes sense. And you keep it on yourself for so long because you never tried to deal with it. You never tried to do anything else with it. That all of a sudden you realize, dang, I'm still dealing with this. And I'm never getting healed about it. This person over here, my pops, God rest his soul, been dead and gone since 2004. My thing is, his race, he's already ran. I got to get that healing. Because all it's going to do is just keep tearing me up. It's just too many people around here that are running off. They're running off the fuel they're using for they're trying to figure out your life is like almost comparable to a car. And when you go to a gas station, you got two, for the most part, you got two type of fuels. You got unleaded and then you got diesel. Some people been taking diesel fuel in their car because they're trying to hurry. They think because it's more powerful and it can hopefully get them over quick. But the problem is they ain't equipped to handle that. And slowly but surely, they destroy themselves. They self-destruction because they're trying to find quick fixes for long-term issues.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot, if I have embedded this and had this issue since 12 years old, I am 40 years old. That means it's going to take some time. But it starts with admitting it, getting it out, sharing those truths that you scared of, because the real talk about it with men, and I don't want to just compare it to men because women the same thing. What I realize now, we did so much, men and women feel this stuff. Man, men and women feel stuff the same way. They just deal with them differently and they approach them differently. Men don't like rejection from no one. Men don't like rejection from their kids. Men don't like rejection from their friends. Men don't like rejection from their women. They don't like rejection from their parents. Because men have very fragile egos. Because majority of things that men do in their life, especially good men, I never talk about bad men when I have discussions. I don't talk about bad men and bad women. Most things that when men do in their life is for the people they love the most. Men go to work, not so much they can eat. They go to work so their family can eat. Men learn how to protect themselves, not so much to just protect themselves, to protect their whole family. Men do a lot of sacrificing. And guess what? Women do the same thing. Women just tend to be better at kind of talking about their emotions than men, because men's egos are way more fragile than women's. So with 12 years old, your father tells you he don't have a son. You're walking out in the neighborhood, you're crying, you don't know why you're crying, you can't control it. You done got your feelings destroyed because you gave your first sign of vulnerability to someone that you thought you could trust being vulnerable with, and they destroyed you. Yeah, it's going to take some time to get that over with, because you got to face it, then you got to deal with it, you got to come into acceptance with it, and then you got to grow from it. So it takes some time. And I think what happens is that, like you said, people, like we were saying, people are afraid to death to look in the mirror and see the monster. Sometimes we the monster. It ain't everybody else. I think we got too much of, we've been looking in two-way mirrors for our whole life, talking about the problems we have. And we need to take the time to stop. We need to look in a one-way mirror when they look right back at us, because sometimes we the issue. You're supposed to get peace for yourself. You're supposed to get healing for yourself. It's like I've been saying about the order of life. I say my order of life, I got God number one. The problem is where number two comes in, and this is where most people mess up all the time, especially men. Number two is you.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not your wife. It's not your kids. It's not your job. It's you. Because if you cannot be right for yourself, you will never be right for no one else. So men been burying. I stand there because I've done it. We bury stuff, and then we put everybody else's stuff in front of ours. And then what happens one day? What happens, Mac, one day? An explosion happens.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Vesuvius happens. You done gave your life up for your woman. You done gave your life up for your kids. You done gave your life up for everybody else. And then when you see people not showing the appreciation that you think you deserve, you blow up. And even worse, what I say, baby, what I said before, even worse, you start, your representative comes in. Men have a representative when they don't feel appreciated. How that representative acts? He's cold. He don't care about your feelings, so he's very sharp because he's irritated. He feels unappreciated. You're getting no more communication from him. It's like you're walking around with a robot. So I can explain that for men on the man side of it to my fellas out there. Man, when you get to that place where you don't feel appreciated because you have never dealt with these issues that you continually have, you keep sweeping under the rug, you try to bury it deep. The problem is you're burying things that are alive. And when things are alive, they have a habit of digging themselves up and reappearing.
It's the same for ladies as well.
Yep.
It's just the way ladies do it is that we do it in plain sight. We change up. If we used to cook and clean, we stop cooking and cleaning as much.
Right.
If we used to tell you everything and try to get your attention and talk to you and dress a certain way and do all these things, that starts to slow down. It's the exact same thing. It's just a difference in the way we decide to approach it.
Yep.
And it's funny because we talked about this before, but that's the beginnings of an emotional affair. The work husbands, the work wives, this my new best friend. That's how that starts. Because we shut down, and instead of going to the person that is giving us the offense or the person that has done these things, we start to believe that there is no hope for them. They're done.
Yep.
It's finished. Let me just move on and find somebody else that I can get when I'm looking for out of.
Yep. What's that? It was when we said that at the beginning, the emotional checkout.
Yep.
It's the emotion. Always start. I don't like Phoebe. You brought up a good point. And I'll probably let you really talk about this more for us. But it's the emotional checkout. Men and women do it, and I'm speaking as a man because I've done it. I know people like to talk about sex a lot, but the reason why sex is talked about so much is because that's one of the things that's always being presented in our eyesight. It's sex, 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 a little bit more sex, a little bit of sex. But the problem is that sex ain't even 10% of a real relationship. It's too many, it's so many other factors that play into it. But it go right into what we say all the time is that the bigger percentage we never pay attention to, just the smaller percentage is because that's what's presented to us all the time. Because we tend never to get no deeper than sex.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing is that sex is the biggest. Sex and finance is the biggest thing. Like you said, it should be less. It's less than 10%, but like it's the major component in people's marriages and relationships. So I just think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're the biggest distractions.
Thank you.
Sex, money, drugs, alcohol. Those are all the biggest things because they play into fantasy. They play into
There you go.
those thoughts and ideas that you don't really talk about, that world that you want, that beautiful, perfect life that you think you can have, that you didn't think about until it was presented to you through TV, through magazines, through somebody's conversation talking about it. You didn't have those thoughts until they were planted in there through that introduction, through that open door. And when you start to indulge in it, once those seeds are planted, every time you sit there and think on it, people don't just cheat because one day they was tempted and they cheated. No, that seed was planted and it dwelled, it got watered over a long period of time. You may not have acted on it physically, but mentally you did it 1,000 times over and over and over again.
Dang.
Like you said, Mac, when that opportunity presented itself after you already undid it 1,000 times, now physically it can manifest because now you have a physical opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And it's just like all the other things. They are a beautiful distraction because they feed our personal desires, our impulses. And you said it earlier, Randy. It's a difference when you stop feeding your impulses, your wills, your desires that are not leading you anywhere but to sadness, depression, disappointment, the same old hamster wheel cycle. Like you just going in a circle and you like, dang, this a different female, a different male, but it's the same situation.
Same situation.
Every relationship always end like this, even friendships. I always keep getting betrayals in friendships. Okay, that means you need to stop and you need to allow yourself to develop by yourself. We said that before. When people decide because they heard somebody else say it and they've been encouraged, oh, well, that was a bad breakup or that was a bad situation, well, the best way to get over is to get with somebody else. No, that's the dumbest, unhealthy, unwise information somebody can give you, because you're not healing. You're just taking all that damage, baggage, trauma, everything that you experience, and you're not even processing it, looking at it, developing it. It's like filth. It's like a trash bag. It's like you're a trash can and you taking that filth over to another house. That same stench and smell is going to still smell. It's only going to get worse because the trash hasn't been taken out. It hasn't been dealt with. You can spray perfume and bring in air fresheners and odor eaters, but the odor and the issue is still alive and well. So it's going to continue to build and grow and get more stinky until you decide to clean it up.
I'm just surprised you got so calm right there.
It's a hard pill to swallow because, like you said, we don't want to deal with it.
It's you would really think, I know it sounds crazy, but you really would think that we want to get healed, right? You would really think that we want to get healed. And it's just so much. There's so much to unload in this conversation that we really gonna get out with this series. You touched on one thing, people, and you said that when people, wow, when people, I think we got too many people giving out foolish advice. One day I paid attention. You know how you is it the Reels? What is it? Facebook got Reels. Facebook Reels. It's supposed to be like the equivalent of Instagram or
TikTok
or TikTok or something like that, right? There's too many of these things. But I was looking. They had a whole bunch of, everybody's a relationship expert. That's the cup of the tea today. I don't know if y'all paid attention to that. Everybody is an expert on relationships, right? But if you ever notice that everybody giving relationship advice is single,
that's a fact.
Or divorced.
That's a fact.
The most you can tell someone if you're single or divorced is the things you did. But with people that are single, and I'm not trying to put too much bones, but I think a lot more women listen to this than anything, because they will go by some of the weirdest things ever. And I'm here to break up, like, what we just said. Like, I believe when we get on here, the one thing I love about Unfiltered is that we are completely unbiased. I think most people just have agendas. They're like, look, we got to get views, we got to get ratings, we got to do everything to make sure that we keep our base up. So pump it out there. Let's be first. Let's not be right. We'll worry about being right later. I heard everybody was like this one where it was a conversation. It's a card game. It's a conversation like, well, this what you got to be. You got to, everything is based off people's feelings. All advice is based off of people's feelings. It's never based off of anything that's sound. Let me get this high quality man. Let me get this high quality women. And everything that they determine to be high quality when it comes to men is money. Period. Anytime they speak about man, is money. The more money a man got, the more choices he got when it comes to women. The world is his oyster. He get to pick any one of the women in the world. He can do anything else like that. When they think of women, it's everything is looks. Oh, this how she look? How she look without makeup?
Is her ass fat?
It's like everything is based upon looks. And like you just said, Fifi, when it's something that's getting pumped into you all the time, distracting you, all it does is just becomes this like, wow, maybe it is right. You know what I mean? When they tell you stupid stuff like 80% of the women are fighting for 1% of the men. And then we say some stuff like, yeah, that's true. That's bull. That's BS. Stop falling for this stupid stuff. That go right into it. All they do is feed into your emotion and wherever you're spiritual, you know what I'm saying, where you at spiritually in yourself. They just, this, every time we talk about this, I talk about spiritual. We are in the middle of one of the biggest spiritual conspiracies. And I wish I could say it better, but that's it. It's coming right there. Everything is spiritual. They want to play with your emotions. They want to play with you spiritually, because if they could get you there, those are two things they can get you the most in. Physical, people say a lot of stuff are physical. Physical ailments, you can get people that got no arms and no legs, and they do incredible things. So,
you know,
physical ain't really big.
I mean to cut you off, Freddie, but like that's one of the things I was referring to earlier. Like just to see, like we watch social media just to see people with no arms and no legs drive cars and just do certain stuff. Like what was this guy doing? It was this guy who was playing cornhole. Like he was one of the top professional cornholers. No legs, no arms. Like doing great. And it's like when you look at it, it's like what will this guy do or give up just to have knees and elbows, like fingers and hands, toes and feet? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just stuff like that. It's like wow, like but we take stuff like for granted every day. Every day. That like it's just stuff like that. Like I'm kind of glad you brought that as an example because that's
Because
one of the
you
things I was
just right
referring
on.
to.
You right do with that. Because just think about that. He not letting that stop him, right? He not letting
Hmm.
it stop him. So this world already know that physical. See, man, if we, good guy, help me, Fifi. Tell me I'm wrong. When we could get to this, when people get to a place to understand that physical attack has not worked. It just ain't worked. It worked for some, but it don't work for anything because the soul and the spirit. When you can't break a man's soul and spirit, you can't stop him.
That's right.
You can't stop him. You're unstoppable. Remember I said, what was I said? I'm sorry, I'm talking to my lady at the same time while we're doing this. So she's looking at me. She's looking gorgeous. And I said it's two dangerous people in this world. The first one is a person that is committed. You can't buy them.
Yep.
You can't bargain with them.
Can't sell them out.
You can't sell them out. You can throw every woman in the world at him, and he still don't take her. You can throw all the money in the world for him. He ain't buying out. Him or her ain't buying out. There's nothing. You can't do it. Look at every movie. If you ever watch any movie and anything in real life, when they got people that they cannot buy out, what happens to them? Normally they try to kill them.
Yep.
They're like, we got to kill him because
They
he's
are
not
a threat.
money. He ain't for sale. He ain't doing anything. He's not doing anything. I'm gonna give you a good example. What's the example I use? David. I use David as an example. When he was messing around with Bathsheba, got her pregnant, brought his her husband home. Like, oh, well, you gonna bring him home? He might sleep with her. How much integrity did her husband have to say, man, I ain't about to go and lay in the bed with my wife. I got men out here in the field laying their lives down. What it look like for me to come in there and do that? And he slept on the front porch.
Read your Bible, people.
He slept on the front porch because you had a little thing called integrity. He said, man, I ain't doing that, man. My people, my men can't be with their husbands, their wives.
Yeah.
They can't be with their families. He didn't even know why they brought him home early. And guess what? He like, dang, this guy's not going to do it. Man, put him in the front line. Let him be way out in front. And then when he get out there,
Gave the order. Yep.
Because he's like, this man is too good. He can't be bought. I'm telling you, when you have that, that's a dangerous man. And the second most dangerous person is a person that's not afraid to die. Can't do something with somebody. You can't do something with them two people. You got one that don't have no value over life. Like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to die for man. Are you? And you got another person that says, man, my integrity, he or she, my integrity is not going to, you're never going to buy me out of what I know is the right thing to do. So the soul of somebody, when the people in society is so powerful, that's where they attack at. That's why everything is so spiritual and emotionally based in everything. That's why with Instagram, more women, they say, you got all these people talking about, I feel a bad way, especially young girls. And I just don't say young girls, I say every woman. Because they put them out here so bad to say, this is what men want, this is what other women want, this is what everybody wants. This is what you got to look like. You don't think women see that, especially young girls, already impressionable, already feeling a certain way about themselves, that they can't have, they already don't have, they're insecure about their breasts, insecure about their body. We ain't even get into the girls that may have already been sexually active, had sex, and now they just doing this because, they ain't got nobody there to tell them what's right, what's wrong, because guess what? They being raised by mamas that want to be their friends.
Mm.
Their mama want a best friend. They don't want to be a mama. And daddy long gone. Or if daddy there, he a womanizer.
Mm.
It's just everything is coming spiritual. Everything is coming, like you said, Fifi, is based off of lust satisfaction, short-term gratification. To make men think, man, if you got money, you can do whatever you want to do. And guess what it's paid to cost for men doing that? Yeah, it's called the Me Too movement. Then it came after the guys. That's why some people are like, it's a witch hunt. And to a certain extent, it might be a witch hunt. But guys with money been doing this for years. They've been doing it for years. You want the part? You want to get this? You got to give me that. Quid pro quo. And don't get me wrong, you make a decision, but there's still an abuse of power.
Yep.
Still abuse of power. Telling men that, guess what? This woman got, you rich, so this is what we can do. I can have many women as I want to. I got a choice out there to what women I want, and we rule the world. And that's not the case. That's 1% on each side. Every woman is not like that. Every man is not like that. That's a lie that they're trying to implant spiritually into every single person across this planet. More importantly, those of lower privilege. That's why you see those of lower privilege in movies, in advertisements, in videos, and everything you see. They have us looking like the most ignorant, the most stupid, the most incompetent, the most slutty, the most sexual orientated, because they want to put us in the aspect of that we're animals. Because that's the only other thing that does that. Animals go out there. Rabbits have sex like crazy. That's what rabbits do. Because they think blacks are no more than animals. Like, man, put sex out in front of them. Let them think that. Let them think that about their women. Let's put their women in such a state where we leave them wondering. Now, you leave the woman that think they got all the bodies in such a state where they're going out here and they get so impregnated, they let every man enter in and out of their body, making spiritual deposits in them. In worst case scenario, making their wombs into tombs and graveyards. And then you tell women out here that are good and doing the right things that they're undesirable. What kind of message is that to send? If you don't have double D's, if you ain't got these measurements, you're undesirable. That's a spiritual implant, man. Do you tell guys, oh, you a good guy? You a sucker if you do this for a woman. You telling a man that does the right thing, he's a sucker for doing the right thing. That's a spiritual implant.
Or he's corny.
Or he's corny. They telling the guy, oh man, you take care of your family. You got one woman. Oh, this nigga corny. And then you telling us you want us to put on a pedestal guys that don't even value their own life because they so willingly and openly and without hesitation will impregnate anything and anybody? Like, that's what you're telling me. That's what you want to have us believe. That's what you want to distract our youth. That's what you want to distract our older people that have never grown up. You want to distract us with that. And all that come from a couple of things. One, we watch too much garbage. We have polluted ourselves with too much garbage. We watch everything. And two, and the most important one, we have turned so far from God that we're at the point where we know he exists, but we don't care.
Yep.
So we got work to do. We got major work to do.
Absolutely.
We got so much major work to do because we got too many young men, we got too many young women, we got too many older men, we got too many older women that have been polluted by a self-destructive message that we have fallen in love with. Ain't no other way to tell you. When you tell people there's a better way to do things that not only will have you perform better in life, that will get you emotionally better, that will have you mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy. When you tell them that there is a way and can show them that way and they decline it, what do you think is wrong with that people?
Everything you just said, they believe in them lies.
It ain't nothing more it ain't nothing more scarier than people start believing the lies that they tell. You just can't do it. Like like you said, Fifi, like what you said, we living in this society where we are. It doesn't believe in healing. It believes in getting even. And y'all need to hear me when I say this. Getting even. So if somebody's doing evil to you, and they telling you that the way to get back to them is do evil back to them, to me, you telling me you want me to be evil to become evil. Don't tell me that it ain't no spiritual attack.
But they don't see it like that. Because they think that this is me vindicating the situation. This is me taking back control over a situation. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you 10 times worse. So you ain't gonna never try me again. You ain't gonna never come for me. You know what we about over here. And that's the biggest lie. Because now you've become what you don't like, what you hate, what hurt you, you become that for somebody else. You're doing that same hurt to somebody else that somebody's just done to you.
Mac, I thought you was about to say something.
Yeah. Almost. I think I lost my train of thought with it, but I don't know where I heard it at, but I heard it with somebody. I thought it was with you. Basically, I guess somebody was saying that a good man has to learn evil ways because one day he has to learn how to fight it. But as much sense as it made, I was just confused by the logic. So you have to consume evil to fight evil. Like I get it, but how does it? I was just thinking about that when you guys were breaking up like these spiritual battles that we're facing, these spiritual demons and spiritual, battles that we're gonna have. So I don't know. I don't know. I just thought of that. That was it.
I've heard people say that before. Like, you know, to to fight the wolf, you got to become a wolf.
Mhm.
And some people like when people who don't really think that you know this the problem when you listen to foolish people. The problem in life is that most people take foolish advice from foolish people and believe it's wisdom. That's like me saying,
You need to
in
say that
order for
again.
me to conquer AIDS, I need to get it. I ain't getting AIDS. I'm not gonna get that. In order for you to fight this poison, you got to get the poison. I'm gonna be dead if I drink poison. What a wise person was to say is that in order for you to defeat evil, is have an understanding of what evil is.
Study it.
Mhm.
That's war. You don't become your enemy, you defeat your enemy. It doesn't. When we had this look, it's contrary. See, first of all, number one, people, the basic knowledge, and I'm saying this not because I'm judgmental. I'm saying it because I found it to know to be true in my life, and I wouldn't tell you nothing that I know ain't true in my own life that I'm not practicing. You got to get into this word. People refuse to get into the word because they want to buy into everybody's other expectation of what other people might say. Oh, it's confusing. I don't understand it. It's boring. There's everything else like that. But yet you can study a song that contradicts and continually degrades your whole entire race and know it verbatim. There's something wrong with that. Again, spiritual, what I'm saying, distraction. It says right here, don't take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it's written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says God.
Where you finding that?
That's
Mhm.
Romans 12:19. It's clear. That's wisdom for y'all, man. I'm telling you, God is y'all think God's saying that because he want to hold you out on some fun and keep you from avenging somebody. He trying to tell you that look, if you go out and get revenge, you have become subject to my wrath because vengeance is mine. I know how to take care of the situation. One, I'm never going to leave my people lacking or suffering. You think I'm going to allow someone to do you wrong and get away with it? The problem is that we just so impatient and we think we can do things better than God. That's the problem. And we
And,
can do it.
and we don't believe that God is our Father and that He actually cares for
Be
us.
careful. We're too impatient. We way too impatient for everything. The things that we could do, the things that we should do, we don't do. because we take all the advice of all these foolish people all the time because it entertains our flesh. Like, man, yeah, man, you know what? Man, she broke up. Oh, man, she did this. Think about this for a minute. You got a woman somewhere who thinks her best revenge for a cheating boyfriend is to sleep with as many men as she can sleep with. She thinks that's going to hurt him more than it hurts her. Because she's only thinking of one aspect. That's a foolish way of thinking. The amount of spiritual, mental, physical damage that you could do to yourself by doing that. I'm speaking as a father of a daughter. I would never tell her something that foolish. I'm like, you got a cheating boyfriend? Let him go and get better. You having sex with 10 or 5 or different other men is not going to do him any harm. And it ain't going to do you no good. We got to stop passing along foolish advice that has nothing to do with people getting healed. If we keep on this disastrous pace of not trying to feed wisdom to people and just to feed their emotions at the time frame where they're at, we in for major disasters, which we already have seen. You got some people that have been hurt so bad now that they're like, you know what? I don't like being a woman. I get hurt as a woman. I want to be a man. It seems like it's going to be better for a man. You got some men who've been hurt so much, man, like, man, you know what? I want to be a woman. So now you got men jealous of men. I mean, men jealous of women. Women jealous of men. They want to be them. And then they say all other disturbing stuff. They'll say, well, I'm a man that want to be a woman, but I like men that like being women. Like, that just confused me saying it. And the best way to attack any enemy is through division and confusion. And if people don't think that we at war for a lot of things that's going on out here, we in a spiritual warfare. It's well past physical now. We in spiritual warfare. So that's why we are promoting this and trying to really put out in the atmosphere, dying to yourself, getting healed, getting to the root of why you're hurt, not why everybody else hurts you. Forget that. You are not in control of what everybody else do. You had a cheating girlfriend, you had a cheating girlfriend. You can't control her habits. I don't care what anybody say. If you have a cheating husband, cheating boyfriend, cheating girlfriend, someone that stole money from you, you cannot control what they do. The only thing you can control is what you do after and getting the healing you need to move forward more healthy in every way possible. So that way you're not stuck in a continuous whirlpool of spiritual dysfunction. That's it. I'm done, y'all. I'm done boring y'all.
I think, man, we gonna have fun actually attacking some of this stuff that's going on. Y'all have anything before we close out there? But I think for next week, I think we do need to tackle this regarding relationships if y'all down for it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, y'all just heard it. Mr. Reese next week gonna be leading the conversation and dying to live in regards to relationships. We're gonna keep it going in this series. So please continue to watch and subscribe and share out in regards to this. I have nothing else to say. I enjoy my time with y'all all the time, and I thank you and so grateful for it. Ms. Hills, you got anything to say? You can go ahead and close us out.
I'm just happy that we've had these conversations, and I hope everybody has been able to get something from it. I hope there was something said that maybe had you thinking differently than the way you've been thinking, that gave you a pause where you can start thinking if you haven't thought about anything that was said that pertains to you and your personal development and growth. I just want us to continue. Don't get stuck. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. Put the focus and attention on you. You have to be healthy, whole, and well in order to help other people, whether it's your family, your kids, your spouse. You have to be the best you for you first. So as we close out, if anybody is having any issues or difficulties, my prayer is that you would allow God in, that you will begin to acknowledge, and that you will begin to do the work to start healing. It's not going to be beautiful. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard, but it's not impossible. And with God's help, you can do it. You can be the best you want to be.
That's it. We will see y'all next week. 7:45 Unfiltered Wednesday.